On that list, bring in Eric Schiffer and also Jonathan Hoenig. Eric, let me start with you. You listened to the comments from Bernie Sanders. He's going to go on to D.C., but I think more or less as a symbolic move. He spoke with Hillary Clinton already. They plan to meet again. Seems like he will be a loyal soldier as long as he can get a few things here. What does that mean for the Republicans?
Well, I think I would agree. I think it sounds like he's going to capitulate. I would also agree that much of what he said is low-hanging fruit. I mean, who doesn't support these kinds of things? Certainly protecting children. Certainly, there's no question our infrastructure needs help. What does it mean to Republicans? It means it's a problem. Because if he can mobilize his base, which he has a huge base, especially amongst millennials, he's going to really give a boost to Hillary Clinton. And that's a problem, because right now the Democrats really haven't consolidated around Clinton, and you're going to see probably anywhere from 5 to 8 points picked up if that happens.
Jonathan Hoenig, you have not been too enamored with Donald Trump, but by the same token, the alternative could be a very left, even further left-leaning Democratic Party with a lot of elements from a socialist sprinkled in there. I know you're not a socialist.
Well, but you know, you're right, Charles, in that sense. And you got to give Bernie Sanders credit is that, unlike the other two major candidates, he has stuck to his principles throughout this entire campaign. You rattled off so many of them, so many of his programs, which, you know, echo, just to talk about quickly, your earlier segment, echo so much of what we've seen going on in Venezuela and in the net result. I happen to think that, you know, Bernie's plunging poll numbers towards the end really coincided with the horror that we've seen rise out of Venezuela, because we see what those principles look like when they're put into practice. I have to say, though, I actually think Trump is more dangerous than the alternative, even with socialist Bernie Sanders involved, because with Bernie and Hillary, they say, see, it's socialism. But with Trump, they call it capitalism, despite the fact that Trump's policies are anything but.
Eric?
Well, look, I'm not a Trump supporter per se at all, but to say that Bernie Sanders is the solution, we're talking about a socialist, okay? Trump is not a socialist. Whether you like him or not, whether you think what he said from a racist perspective was horrible, which I do. If we just look at the core elements of his campaign, whether you like him or not, and I'm certainly not supporting him, who would want a socialist? And so I don't really understand. I don't understand. I do not understand Jonathan's point. I don't get it.
Well, let me just ask you, Jonathan, when we talk about the core economic platform for Donald Trump, low taxes, getting rid of these regulations, getting rid of these fees, to me, that's the, I mean, when someone says they're a capitalist pig, aren't those the three key items that come first?
Charles, you talk about Trump wants to get rid of regulations. Tariffs are nationalization. That is what Donald Trump is promoting. I mean, whether it's on taxes, whether it's on entitlements, which he wants to keep, whether it's on ethanol subsidies, which he supported, whether it's on eminent domain, and specifically trade, which Trump has likened to rape. He is the opposite of a capitalist. So something as flip as trade tariffs or calling up the CEO of a major company and threatening not to lose their business, that is anything but capitalist. And it'll take a self-avowed socialist like Sanders or Trump much more than someone who's posturing to be a capitalist who's really a totalitarian in disguise.
All right, guys, very passionate stuff. We're out of time on this, but got to get you guys back again real soon. Thanks a lot.